My name is Sufian, and it's a Muslim name. The most famous Sufian distinguished himself as a mayor of Mecca in 622. He was the mortal enemy of the Prophet Muhammad, and he tried to assassinate the Prophet. Thank God I wasn't named after him. I was actually named for romantic reasons. I'm from the Muslim part of Russia called Circassia, and the Circassians have a custom of giving the honor of naming their babies to their friends and relatives. And the honor of naming me went to my father's cousin, Maria, who became kind of godmother to me. Maria named me after her boyfriend, Sufian. It was kind of a love message. Look, boyfriend, I'm naming babies after you, do something. But he didn't do anything. I'm not sure how many Sufians it took her to name until before he finally proposed to her 5 years later. And they married and they lived unhappily ever after. Maria and Sufian lived next to my parents. I used to hang out at their front yard because my godmother was sweet and kind to me, and my namesake was my role model with his strong biceps and deep voice. And I spent a lot of time in the front yard staring in awe at Sufian's shiny motorcycle with a sidecar. I also liked playing with the baby buffalo. Well, I guess Americans in their childhood play with baby cows, while Circassians play with baby buffaloes, which are the same size as baby cows, only much cuter and dirtier. So that baby buffalo friend of mine was Maria's bride price from her parents. And Maria daily would feed both of us in the front yard, milk for the baby buffalo and fruit and sweets for me. But my favorite thing at the front yard was watching Maria and Sufian's family drama. First, the baby buffalo and I would hear loud voices coming from inside of the house. And then my godmother would run out of the house shouting, "Take me back to my parents." And my namesake would raise her shouting, "I regret the day I married you." Sufian would jump on the motorcycle. Maria would grab the baby buffalo on her way and put it in the sidecar of the motorcycle, and they would take off. And every time they would take off, leaving me alone with my mouth open, I would feel left alone and sad. A couple of weeks later, inevitably Sufian would go and beg Maria to return, and she would always forgive him, and they would reunite. This scene happened so many times that I already knew all moves by heart. And even the baby buffalo, when it would hear loud voices coming from the house, it would run and jump into the sidecar, excited to go for a ride. Besides with those active fights, the drama of Sufian and Maria involved also subtle and passive-aggressive warfare means. The Circassians have another custom. When the wife doesn't say husband's name out of respect, but gives him a sweet domestic nickname. So Maria named her husband Zhemukhov, which translates from Circassian as happy horseman, even though he had a motorcycle and not a horse. And the Circassian wife pronounces her husband's name only in one case, when she's angry at him. And I actually heard Maria calling her husband Sufian more often than she called him happy horseman. Also, Maria never called me by my name, even though she gave it to me. And in order to avoid me calling by her husband's name, she also gave me a nickname, Dushabzu, which translates as golden bird. I don't know why, maybe because of my beautiful golden tan, or because of my thin bird-like legs. But I loved when she called me golden bird, because it kind of symbolized for me that I was a spoiled and beloved child. My spoiled and beloved childhood, however, ended pretty soon and very dramatically. That day, the baby buffalo and I were playing as usual, and nothing predicted the tragedy of ending of my childhood. No lightning in the sky, no sun eclipse, no snow in the middle of the summer. And as usual, we heard loud voices from the house, and my athletic namesake ran out of the house and beat everybody to the car. My friend, baby buffalo, came first and jumped into the car side of the motorcycle, and my upset godmother was running far behind, and that's when it happened. Suddenly she looked at me, stopped, and addressed me saying, "Go home, Sufian." She never called me by my name before, and at first I was so shocked, I thought foolishly that maybe she didn't recognize me. And I corrected her. I said, "I am Golden Bird." And then she looked me into my eyes and said with anger, "You are Sufian, Sufian, Sufian." Never before in my life had my name sounded so dirty. So as they got all on the motorcycle and took off and left me alone and lonely, I repeated to myself, "I'm Sufian, Sufian, Sufian." And it felt like the end of my beloved and spoiled childhood. It felt like the end of the era of Golden Bird and the beginning of the era of Sufian. Since then, Maria and Sufian, after that, Maria and Sufian never divorced. They had 3 children, and finally they learned how to get along with each other and be a little bit less unhappy ever after. My childhood friend grew up, gave birth to 7 little baby buffaloes, and paid off for the replacement of Sufian's old motorcycle with the new car. And I also accepted my name and grew up with it and come to love it until I moved to the United States, where I encountered a new challenge that Americans find my name sometimes difficult and cannot pronounce it when I tell it to them over a desk or on the phone or at the Starbucks. And at those moments I wish I wasn't named after the mayor of the ancient Mecca, but instead I wish I would have some common and contemporary American name like Hussein or Barack.